And it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America. And I'm not sure.
Okay, let's talk facts for a second. So it's a fact that this one person sitting on the right there made the decision that it is no longer going to be called the Gulf of Mexico. It's a fact that it's been known as the Gulf of Mexico since 1589. It's a fact that this is what the map has looked like for 436 years. It's also a fact that in November of 2024, there were 264.8 million voters in the United States, and of those 264.8 million voters, 77.3 million of them voted for Donald Trump. It's also a fact that if you take those numbers, do some quick division, you can figure out that 29.19% of voters in the United States elected Donald Trump. 29%. So a man who was elected by 29% of the people in the United States decided on a whim, because he wanted to flex his power, presumably, and show that he could make this decision by himself, renamed a body of water that's been known as the Gulf of Mexico for over 436 years. It wasn't run through Congress. There wasn't any kind of stakeholder input. Certainly no other countries were consulted about this, and this does affect other countries. And those are the facts. And let's take one more look.
Sure why news outlets don't want to call it that, but that is what it is. The Secretary of Interior has made that the official designation in the geographical identification name server. And
I just want you to notice that tone for a minute. Listen to the tone. Does that sound like the tone and demeanor of someone who knows that they're in the right, knows that this was done in the right way? We're talking about a news organization, Reuters, who pushed back on calling it the Gulf of America, stuck with the Gulf of Mexico, and they are very much in the realm of international affairs, involved with many other countries, so they don't want to bow down to one person elected by 29% of the population deciding that it's going to be called something different, when there are many other countries around the world who also have an opinion about what it's called. So, yeah, just while we're dealing with facts there, let's call it what it is.
Knows those computers better than anybody. All those computers, those vote counting computers. Won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed, it'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I actually tell our people, we don't need your vote. We got so many votes, we don't need them.
In fact, my instruction, we don't need the votes. I have so many votes.
If we lose, I'm fucked.
It does seem that way. You can't just be like, yo,
Yeah, I'm like, how long do you think my prison sentence is going to be? Do you think?
Our little secret is having a big impact. He and I have a secret. We'll tell you what it is when the race is over.
Elon created an app, and he knew who won 4 hours before the results. So as the results were coming in, 4 hours before they called it, Dana White told me, Elon was like, I'm leaving, it's over, Donald won.
We're in SpaceX and quietly just do whatever we want.
First of all, let's talk about this massive mandate that supposedly brought Donald Trump into office. Donald Trump did not run on putting an unelected billionaire in charge of dismantling the federal government. He ran on lowering prices for Americans. And I think it's interesting that while we're sitting here this morning, the top of the New York Times is reporting that inflation has risen unexpectedly as food and energy prices have soared. What's going on, guys? I thought you were going to tackle inflation and food and energy prices. Isn't that what the executive orders were supposed to do? Oh, wait. Or is dismantling diversity, equity, and inclusion in our federal agencies and putting an ideological agenda and trying to fire the federal workforce your actual agenda? Have you been too busy trying to actually address the fiscal health of this country? Because the numbers are telling us that you have. So let's be real about what's going on here. I also want to point out that literally while we've been sitting here for the last almost 2 hours getting lectured on fiscal responsibility, literally the Republicans just released their plan to raise the debt limit while we were sitting here. And they want to raise it by $4 trillion. Okay, guys, like literally, I'm just like without words. Inflation is going up. You want to raise the debt ceiling by $4 trillion. You want to gut Medicare. You want to gut Medicaid. You're talking about going after Social Security after promising that you wouldn't. I mean, really, what the heck is going on here? We're not trying to take down Elon Musk as a businessman. This dude is literally breaking the law inside of the federal government. And for a party that is supposed to be the party of law and order, in quotes, I really do not see you holding him accountable and doing your most basic constitutional responsibility in the separation of powers. So, I want to end where I started. We are the Oversight Committee. We are the People's House for the United States of America. We represent the American people. And so, Mr. Elon Musk, if you would like to appear in front of the Oversight Committee, you have been duly invited. Please, come tell us what you're doing. Come testify in front of the American people. And please, come hold yourself to account.
This subcommittee is supposedly about looking into waste, fraud, and abuse. So I'd like to start talking about independent inspector generals who are supposed to be looking into waste, fraud, and abuse. Mr. Talcove, do you know how many inspector generals at agencies that were investigating Elon Musk's companies have been fired by the Trump-Musk administration?
No.
It is 5. Ms. Royal, the Inspector General of the Department of Labor had 17 open investigations into Tesla and SpaceX. Do you know what the Trump-Musk administration did to that Inspector General?
No.
They fired him, and I think y'all know. Mr. Whitson, the Inspector General of the Department of Transportation was investigating Tesla. Do you know what the Trump-Musk administration did to that Inspector General?
No.
They were fired. The Department of Defense's Inspector General was looking into SpaceX. Mr. Hedler, do you know what the Trump-Musk administration did to that Inspector General?
I believe he was fired.
Thank you. I think everybody on the panel knows what the answer to these questions were. The U.S. Department of Agriculture Inspector General was investigating Musk's Neuralink. Mr. Talcove, now I'll ask you again under oath, do you know what Mr. Trump did to that Inspector General that was looking into one of Musk's companies?
No.
He was fired. The Inspector General at the EPA was repeatedly taking on Tesla. Mr. Hedler, since it seems that you're answering the questions that everyone knows the answer to, do you know what the Trump-Musk administration did to that Inspector General?
I believe he was also fired.
Also fired. At least 5 Inspector Generals that were looking into Elon Musk's companies were fired by the Trump-Musk administration. These Inspector Generals, who are independent, protected by law, they are the people that find the waste, fraud, and abuse and found many of the cases of waste, fraud, and abuse that have been brought up today, fired because they were looking into Elon Musk. At the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, which is supposed to protect workers from getting their unions busted by folks like Elon Musk, made functionally broken by the so-called Department of Government Efficiency that really is the Department of Government Efficiency for Elon Musk, not for you. They are trying to shut down the Department of Education, the Department of Labor. You know what Elon Musk doesn't seem to be looking into? His own contracts. Again, I'll ask you, Mr. Talcove, do you know how much money a day Mr. Musk will receive from the federal government for his contracts?
No.
The answer is $8 million a day. Just last year, Elon Musk was promised $3 billion from close to 100 contracts with the federal government. Ms. Royal, do you know how much the average person in this country who survives on Social Security, one of our seniors who's worked their entire life, about how much they have to survive on a day?
I do not.
$65 a day. We're not looking into Elon Musk's $8 million a day. This subcommittee, chaired by Marjorie Taylor Greene and the House Republicans, is looking into your grandmother's $65 a day. Let me be clear. I think we would all support taxpayer savings, look into money we might needlessly send to billionaires and big corporations, find taxpayer savings, and send it back to your hardworking family. But instead, What House Republicans and the Trump-Musk administration want to do is they want to look into your kids' lunch money, your kids' teacher's salary, into your grandparents' Social Security. They want to take that money and give it out in billionaire tax cuts, and they're talking about that in committee tomorrow. In Budget Committee tomorrow, they just released their plan. So let me be clear. When Republicans talk about government efficiency in this Congress, they're not looking into billionaires who don't pay their taxes. They're not looking into billionaires who get rich off of government contracts. They're not looking into Elon Musk firing watchdogs who are supposed to keep him accountable. They're looking at cutting your public schools. They're going straight for your Social Security. They're coming straight for cancer research. They're coming straight for the Department of Education. They're not looking at big tech. They're not looking at big pharma because those people fund their campaigns. If this committee were serious about rooting out waste from our federal government, then today's whole hearing would be about how Musk and Donald Trump are firing the independent watchdogs who've done this work for decades. Instead, my Republican colleagues' actual goal on this committee is to distract from Trump and from Musk's corrupt war on accountability. This will not be a subcommittee dedicated to making government efficient for everyday people. It's about helping Elon Musk and Donald Trump be as efficient as possible in robbing our government and handing out our government services to the rich. So this seems that this subcommittee is just going to be like the agency it's named after.
The gentleman's
a sham,
time has expired.
A total sham.
The American people are $36 trillion in debt. It certainly seems reasonable that someone has been fired. I now recognize the gentleman from Tennessee.
You're going to put us further in debt with your billionaire
You're
tax
not
cuts.
recognized.
It's time for the Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I was just dancing to my own groove. It's the Trucker John live stream. I just was getting into it, man. What can I say? You know, I like my own theme song. I'm sorry. So sue me. Anyway. I hope you can hear me. I think you can hear me. I got a green light on the mic, so I'm going to take that as we're good. Aaron West, thank you so much. Chris Doug, Fancy, thanks for those thumbs ups. Thank you guys for being here. It's only 11:20 a.m. in the Pacific time zone here in good old Las Vegas, Nevada. Looks like we got sunnier skies today. We had some rain a couple days ago where it just rained all day. It made up for 7 months of drought in one day, I think. No rain in the forecast. I hope we don't go another 7 months, though, I gotta say. But thanks for being here, guys. And the opening clips there, I hope that didn't ruin your day, because it's pretty disgusting, right? It's pretty disgusting. Let me check out the chat here. Paul Burrows was here at 3 a.m. It says, I'll be dashing through the snow. Back to Lewis and Idaho from St. Marie's, Idaho, when you read this. Stay safe, Paul Burrows, out there on those icy, snowy roads. And I know Idaho, it can be really, really cold and icy, so be careful. Nick Rich was here. Hit the like. Hey, yeah, we got 51 watching, only 34 thumbs ups. You guys are slacking. We got some slackers. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for me. AM was here, or is here. I don't know. Steven Sayers is here. Good to see Steve. CR, the Soulcraft. It's the Soulcraft. Soulcraft's here. Big Dog NC is here. Good to see Big Dog. Roxanne Armfield, good morning to you. Or a good afternoon, wherever you may be. Josh. Hello, Josh. Tiki Tony. A raid. I don't know if that was a raid from Hal or where that, but thank you for raiding. Tiki Tony. Jolie's here. Hey, Jolie, thanks for being here. We got Jolie. We got Aaron. We're at full mod capacity. I do believe we are streaming on Twitch and also on Facebook. I believe, if I haven't checked it yet, but I believe on the Progressive Radio Station page on Facebook. I think, and maybe it didn't. You know what? I'm not sure if it is. It might be on my regular page. I haven't checked it yet, and I don't like to check it just yet because it screws the whole thing up here on my iPad as far as like where I'm at in the chat. So we may or may not be. We're somewhere on Facebook. So we've got also, in addition to Roxanne Armfield, we have Roxanne Epstein. So thank you so much. Hal Sparks raid. Thank you. Well, thanks. Thank you, Hal. I don't think Hal did it, but thank you anyhow. Search for You is here. Hey, Search for You. You've been searching. Is the search over? I think you found us. Yeah, Chris Doug with the Hal Sparks raid. Well, there you go. Thanks for raiding. Carrie C is here. Hey, Carrie C, good to see you. Good to see. It's always good to see Carrie C. By the way, Christina Weibel says they are trying to take away women voting. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't put anything past them. They really are trying to destroy the country. They really, really are. And as it was all foretold in Project 2025, and they got the presidency. And now they got the president who's willing to just check off everything on Project 2025. All these firings. They said they were going to get rid of all these government employees, even if it's our nuclear defense systems. They did backtrack on that one a little bit because they were like, whoops, wait a minute. Maybe we went a little too far. Maybe. Ruben Michaels is here. Ruben says Putin and Elon Musk cheated like hell. I agree. I agree with that. Robert Perez is here. Hey, Robert, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the old driver's lounge. Robert says, top of the morning, Trucker John. Have a great day to all Democratic voters. I second that motion. I second that emotion. Mm-hmm. Andy USA is here. Hal Sparks raid. Hey, Andy, thanks so much for coming over from Hal Sparks. I do appreciate you. Tom Bias is here. I hope the truck's running good. Tom Bias says there's a Till Super Chat goal. I wish I could. Hey, if you can, fine. If you can't, that's fine too. As long as you're here and you're liking and subscribing and chatting, that's the main thing. Let's see. We got Chris Doug. Alabama losing $416 million in federal funding from NIH. Good going, Crimson Tide. Well, you know, we gotta make that money up somewhere to pay Elon Musk his billions of dollars in government contracts. You know, that's really what it's coming down to. You know, let's cut Social Security, let's cut Medicaid and Medicare, let's cut all these programs because we got to pay, you know, Elon Musk, man. Come on, man, get it straight. Get your priorities straight. Elon Musk comes first. The Soulcraft says Huntsville, Alabama is 70% federal employees and feeling the pinch. If this doesn't wake up some people in those southern states, nothing fucking will. If they don't go, gee, I wonder why we're losing all these jobs that we're stimulating what economy we do have, then they'll never figure it out. They'll be sinking like in the Titanic and never figuring out, like, oh, I guess there was a hole in the hull. There was a hole in the hull. Tom Bias says stuff like this that makes me smoke marijuana. Hey, smoke them if you got them, man. Ruben Michaels is here. Ruben says Musk belongs behind bars with Jimmy Hoffa. Or with Jimmy Hoffa. He definitely belongs behind bars, I believe. Let's see. Search for you. This is disgusting. Yeah, that was disgusting, but I felt like I had to share it, I have to get it out there. What's going on, man? This is what's going on. Those clips I showed, that's what's going on. The stripping down and tearing down of all of our fucking guardrails. Hey, Fancy's here. I'm right on time. I thought I was late. Hey, you're never late, Fancy. You're just always on time. Roxanne Epstein, good trucker John spared us the swastika's voice and went into the song that gets stuck in my head. Yeah, it was getting stuck in my head too. It's time for the trucker John live stream. Cian's here. Hi, all truckers. TJ. Hey, well, thanks for being here, Cian. Good to see you. From the Netherlands, right? From the Netherlands, if I recall. Aaron West says, I have a 44-pound collie lapdog. Anyone want to adopt her? Laughing out loud. That's funny. I know. We had this one dog for a while. It was what do they call it? Presa Canera or whatever the hell it is. Fucking biggest, hugest dog I've ever seen in my life. I mean, the thing was over 100 pounds. When he stood up on his hind legs, he was almost as tall as I am. We were almost like face to face. This dog, though, you'd be sitting on the couch watching TV, and this dog, who's about almost as big as I am, would jump up on my lap as I'm watching TV, and then turn around and kind of look at you, like, and it was just you couldn't kick him off the couch at that point or off your lap, with that look. This freaking, I want to say 200-pound dog, but I never weighed the thing, but I bet it weighed at least 100 pounds. I don't know. What's big for a dog? 80 pounds? Whatever is a big weight for a dog. That thing, and it wasn't like he was a fucking brute. I mean, I had to tackle that dog, a full-on tackle, like when I was in football one time, because he almost killed this little poodle at the park one day. I literally had to run with everything I had. This is like back when I could still run. This is like almost 20 years ago, I guess. I mean, I ran at full speed and just wrapped my arm. I did a full tackle to get that dog off of this other dog that if I hadn't done that, I'm sure he was going to kill it. But anyhow, still, sweet. Other than that, sweetest dog and big and huge and wanted to sit in your lap when you were on the couch. And I'm like, what do you think you're? I would look at her. It was a him, right? I think it was a him. Yeah, it was a him. I would look at him. I'm pretty sure that was a him. Was it a her? Oh, now I can't remember. Whatever. I'll just go non-binary or whatever. They. Whenever I would look at them, and I would say, look, what the hell do you think? Do you think you are? Do you think you're a little toy poodle or something? I mean, come on. And it would just look like it would look back at you like, and you're like, all right, move your head over so I can see the TV, at least. John G, hey, my mute button doesn't work. Uh-oh. Roxanne says no audio. But I got thumbs ups. So I hope you guys are hearing me. Testing, check. Everyone gave me thumbs ups. Nick says he can hear me. Maybe it was like literally it was like 2 seconds. Now that I think about it, when I came on, it was literally like 2 seconds. There was no audio, and then okay, so that's what you guys were talking about. All right. John G. Ohio is 2:20 p.m. 35 degrees. A little chilly out there in Ohio today. Bundle up. Aaron West, MTG's voice ruined my day. Sorry, Aaron. I'm sorry I ruined your day, and I know I don't like listening to her either. She just had to chime in, didn't she? Just focus on the part with the other dude was saying, Brooklyn, I can't listen to the opening clips. Tom Bias, it's great that it's being called out. Andy USA, Chicago is in the house. I take it that's where Andy is from. Chicago. Nick Rich, have you had a chance to talk to any Vegas cabbies yet, John? No, I have not. I'm still not a cab driver yet. I'm still doing Lyft, so it's probably going to be a couple of weeks at least until I'm in a cab. If all goes well. Big Dog NC says, I wish Hal would put those notify me on his page for upcoming. Roxanne Epstein, it's the Trucker John live stream. It's the Trucker John live stream. Roxanne Epstein, Hal Raid happened. Thank you guys for coming over. 54 watches, still only 49 thumbs up. So there's some people who have not hit the thumbs up. And I'm very disappointed. Tom Bias, let's get that goal for Trucker John's flat tire. Yes. The flat tire has been fixed. It took, I don't know, how many hours did it take? 5 or 6 hours or longer than that to get it all situated and done. But I went out driving last night and tire held up. It's a brand new tire, so. Carol Lee says, hey, from Maryland, 37 and slushing. Careful out there, Kelly. Don't slush too much. Stay warm if you can. Stay bundled up. Crank up the heater. Have some hot tea or coffee or cocoa or whatever. A hot toddy. Have yourself a hot toddy. Ruben Michaels, welcome to Driver. Ruben, what? You're going to get a yippee, Ruben. Yippee to Ruben Michaels. Thank you for becoming a driver, a member. I do that. I do appreciate it. We got memberships. We got Buy Me Coffee, like, subscribe, share, super stickers, super chats, the whole 9 yards right here on the old Trucker John live stream. As I'm wearing my Nerd Halen t-shirt. I have to lean back, I guess, in order to see it. Or I could scoop the chair back, but I'm afraid all hell will break loose if I do that. I guess I could just do that, but then I got to lean in to read the chats on the phone. But look there, it gets kind of an effect like, whoa, here I am coming at you. See all my pores. But thank you, Ruben. I do appreciate you for becoming a member. Search for you. The search for missing people is never over. It ain't over till I say it's over. Look at there. I see we got a $5 super chat that made the goal from CA. Thank you. I'll scroll down in a second to see exactly who it is. But I'll give you a preliminary yippee on that. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you. Ask says Malcolm Nass is warning us all. Hello, Ask. Thanks for being here, by the way. Good to see you. I'm just scrolling down. Josh says there was a horse in the Korean War that got more medals and commendations than Pete Hegseth. Tom Bias, I am driven to achieve goals. Fancy, why are we paying taxes if they're cutting all of our services? Right. Good point, Fancy. We got to pay taxes, like I said, to finance Elon Musk. That's what it's about. To the almighty Musk, we must give. We give, and give. It's not like, how do you expect him to survive on $400 billion? Last night I was thinking, you could take 90% of Musk's money away. Let's just say, just for the sake of argument, 400 billion cash, even though it's not. It's all, most of that is, and locked up, whatever. But let's just say theoretically, you could take 90% away of what's 90% of 400 billion? Is that 360 billion? I don't know. I'm just doing this off the top of my head. So that would leave him with 40 billion. So I'm thinking now. You math people, correct me, but if you took away 90% of Musk's wealth, and it's estimated at last I heard 400 billion, whatever it is, let's just say 400 billion, he would still be immensely well. According to my math, he'd still be worth $40 billion. He can still live very, very decadent lifestyle, very opulent, have a very, very, very nice life with $40 billion. We could take 90% of his wealth, and he would still be fabulously rich and be able to do whatever the fuck he wants with that money, as far as buying shit and going places and doing stuff or whatever. So, fuck you, Elon Musk. You greedy ass motherfucker. You greedy ass fucking little motherfucker. Fuck you, Trump. Fuck you, Musk. And Trump too, by the way. Let's put him in there. But fuck you, Musk. I'm so used to saying fuck you, Trump, I guess. And whether or not my math is correct, I don't know. But the point is, he would still be fabulously rich. Even if we took away the powers that be, somehow, act of God, took away 90% of his wealth, he would still be far richer than all of us will ever be. Ruben Michaels putting the word out for Trucker John. Thank you, Ruben. I do appreciate you for doing that. Put the word out. Get the word out. Trucker John is here. Okay, he's here. Now what do you do? Big Dog NC, I wish I had $1 for every time I've heard this has got to wake up people up. Since John McCain comment, I'd be a millionaire. I know, right? I agree, Big Dog. How many times have we said that? And they don't wake up. I think they're comatose. That's the problem. People are comatose. Yes, there is a hole in the hull of the USS Harry S. Truman. Is that what we were talking about the other day? I don't know. Fancy says a new flag would be nice. Looks like my speaking of new flags, on my iPhone I'm not seeing any missing coverage of my green screen, but when I look at the iPad, I do see. Is it over here? I'm trying to. Yeah, I guess it's over here. I'm seeing that's not covering, and it's really bugging me, man. Oh well, I'm not gonna mess with it now. It is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, just this whatever this is down here. Just consider that to be like a solar flare or something. I don't know. With my background. And it's supposed to say Trucker John, but it looks like Ucker H. Infill. So much for I just threw that background in there at the last second. I thought it would look. It's from my Trucker John intro film on my channel, but I thought it'd be kind of spacey. Like Hal has kind of a space thing going. I thought I'd do a little space theme or whatever. But whatever. Roxanne Epstein says, did you hear Brainworm HealthSec is proposing wellness labor camps for drug rehabilitation? Oh, great. Yeah, let's just have more camps. How about we just fund the fucking drug rehab and our healthcare system to include more, drug rehabs through our local drug rehab places that we have all over the country. We don't need to round people up and send them in camps. What is this fixation with rounding up people and sticking them in camps? I guess it's because they're Nazis. That's what Nazis did. I guess I just had an epiphany, in a way. You guys can hear me. That's good. I'm glad you can hear me. The Soulcraft says, I wonder, whenever I read Soulcraft, I have to do this. The Soulcraft says, I wonder if RFK is still on opiate replacement with methadone or Suboxone. He was on it for years. Well, then he probably still is. He's on something, I would say. Ruben Michaels says Trump and Musk hate American veterans. That's why he fired 1,000 veteran administration employees. It will be much harder to get your benefits. They will become they'll be coming after disabled veterans next. They don't care about anyone but themselves. They don't give a fuck about veterans. They don't give a fuck about anyone but them fucking selves. Them fucking selves. And they have the unmitigated gall and nerve to talk about how we've got to hurt the American people. Got to go through some pain, but they won't do anything to make any sacrifices at all for themselves at all. They want it all. Musk wants it all. So bullet to the head, man. Bullet to the head for that guy. That's what he deserves. I'm saying it really low, so I won't get in trouble. If I say it really low like this, maybe I won't get in trouble. Non-useless says, hey there, Mr. Trucker John. This morning, Jesus Trump is trying to hoodwink Zelensky of Ukraine, claiming USA is no longer interested in securing Europe. I don't think Zelensky's going to fall for any of that banana in the tailpipe bullshit. I mean, Zelensky might kind of, he knows he has to sort of play nice or maybe, be a bit diplomatic, but trust me, Zelensky does not fall for that. Zelensky is not a fool. Let's see. Don Houston says Russia, though, is not a part of Europe, so there's room for negotiations. Think a MAGA. And there it is. Oh, it was Nick Rich. Okay, Nick Rich, thank you so much. I didn't see. I saw that the little confetti went off, and then I saw a little thing about the super chat, but I didn't see who it was. I couldn't see the name. So Nick Rich, I said CA because it says CA and then $5. I don't even know what CA means. Canadian. Oh, that was Canadian. I guess that's Canadian $5. Thank you, thank you, Nick. So Nick, here's your yippee to Nick. Nick Rich 56 or 56 Nick Rich for that super chat. Thank you for making our goal. We're goals oriented. That's why I keep my goals low, so I don't face disappointment too much. Oh, OG Adam West is here. Awesome. Glad John has his green screen now. Yeah. You can see it's not fitting the whole way. I don't know. On my iPad, it's not fitting the whole screen. And I'm not messing with it. All I have to do is lower this down a little bit, and it'll work. But I'm not messing with it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But thank you, Adam, for being here. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, man. Haven't seen you in a long, long time. Non-useful, a long day and night of rain, rain, rain. Rain, 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 won't you go away? Seahaw's here. Hey, Seahaw, good to see you. Thanks for so much for joining us. Laughing loud, hot toddy, bourbon, honey, and lemon is just an excuse to drink bourbon. Hey, whatever it takes, man. Oh, by the way, I didn't bring it in. Last night I was dropping this couple off at the airport, and as they were getting out, the guy said like something like, "Do you like to drink?" And I'm like, that's kind of an odd thing. And he goes, and I just I go, yeah, occasionally I'll like have a drink, you know. And then he's like, I can hear this noise. He's like rustling for something, and he goes, no, because I have this bottle of liquor, and I cannot bring it in. They will not let me take it on the flight. He goes, would you like to have it? And it was a little bottle. I don't even know. You know, I'm not whatever size that is of a bottle of Hennessy, and it was unopened, completely unopened, beautiful, pristine bottle. He goes, would you like to have it? And I was like, yeah, sure, thank you. And then I stuck it in my little middle console. I forgot to bring it in because I don't want it in my car. But I don't know, Hennessy. I think I've probably drank Hennessy at some point in my life. I don't know. I don't even know if I like it, but it's a pretty bottle. I should, if I had it, I would show it to you. But it's in the car, so. But I got a little bottle of booze from a passenger last night. Hey, here's Sylvain Coiffon is here. Let's see. Imagine, if you will, a Fed worker who bought a Tesla, has a loan or lease on it. Now they are fired, can't pay the loan or lease, fired by the guy whose car they bought. Well, look at there. Wouldn't that be almost like karma in a way, or some sort of something karmic, probably? And I hear that Tesla car sales are just dropping like a rock. The more he does his shit, every time he comes out and speaks and says the fucking horrible shit that he's saying, his sales just continue to drop. And I hope they completely tank. I do receive emails from Tesla because I've gone on their site and I've inquired about their vehicles before. And so I got an email from them the other day saying that you can now lease a Tesla Model 3, I think it was Model 3, right? For $249 a month. And goddamn, I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't tempted. $249 a month for a Model 3. But I'm not doing it. I don't even want to be seen in a Tesla. I'm proud that I'm in a Bolt now. Steve Sayer says, Pete heck shit drunk watch countdown to intoxicated behavior. If I couldn't laugh about it, I'd be crying. Right? You know. Elizabeth Fernandez says, howdy from Alpin, Wisconsin. Yes, you can call me Liz. Oh, okay. Hi, Liz. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. Good to have you in the driver's lounge. Thanks for being here. Let's see. We got Tom Bias. He'd still have more money than Pab. Yeah, he would. Joy Eldred's here. Hey, Joy. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us over here in the driver's lounge. Revenge of a Millennia is here. I've never seen that name before, so welcome to the driver's lounge. And Revenge of the Millennia is agreeing on something. I'm not sure what, but thank you for agreeing, I guess. I don't know. The Soulcraft says you can live a good life just off the interest. Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, Ass says less 90 equals, I think it's 300, like I said, 360 billion. That would leave him with like 40 billion. If my math is all correct, I don't know. Sayha says, want to keep driving Teslas now? No, I don't. I just, well, you typed this 15 minutes ago, so. But I still like the car. That's the thing. I still like the car. But I don't like the man at the top of the ticket there. OG Adam West is taking cancer payments from children to buy himself more gold. Horrible. Fucking horrible. Absolutely fucking horrible. You know? And this is the kind of shit we need to keep pointing out to everywhere we can. Because people think There's a lot of people, maybe they don't pay attention, or they look at headlines or something, and they think it's kind of cool. They think it's good that let's cut all this government spending. It's good. It's good. Okay, then let's stop giving money to billionaires then. Let's start there. I think that's where we should start. Let's stop subsidizing billionaires and big corporations. Big oil does not need any more subsidies or tax breaks. They are well established. Okay? These big multi-billion-dollar corporations, they're well established. They don't need any more help from the government. Let's start there. That's where we should, instead of starting at the bottom and cutting Medicaid, and money to go to cancer victims and kids and veterans. Instead of starting there, let's start at the top and start cutting from SpaceX and Tesla, and mobile, and shale oil and all that kind of whatever it is, all the oil companies and Walmart or whatever subsidies, whatever breaks they're getting. Let's start there. Fancy says people are vandalizing Teslas. Sylvain Couvin says SpaceX is worth $400 billion, still privately owned, no shares. Which is probably a good thing, because once they go public, my kind of theory is I think once these companies go public, they get worse, because then they feel they have this fiduciary duty to just always make profits no matter what, no matter how good their profits are. No profits are ever good enough. There's no amount of profit that will ever be good enough once you take a company public. That's just my little layman's viewpoint of that. Tom Bias, little booger picker X, it has more money than Pab. Yeah, he's a little billionaire already. Non-useless says if Elon gave all of his money, $448 billion to every citizen, $320 million, it would be $1,400 per person. Yippee! Yippee! Hey, Walter McCarovich is here. Hey, Walter, good to see you. Thanks for jumping on into the old driver's lounge. Walter McCarovich says, good Saturday, Trucker John. Did you see that idea that the Democratic Party should have their own daily briefing? All networks, I think it would be great. Now, I did catch just a little bit on Hal this morning, and it seemed like he kind of poo-pooed it. Someone asked the question, or Johnny asked the question that somebody had asked the question, and he was like, well, that's what I do, or whatever. And then I think I was busy doing something else, so I kind of didn't see the follow-up on that. But I think it would be great. And I saw somewhere where someone was saying, what about Pete Buttigieg? We've seen what Pete Buttigieg, how he just slices and dices these Fox channel idiots. I think Pete Buttigieg would be perfect to be the Democratic spokesperson. I'm all for it, Walter. I'm all for it. That has a Trucker John seal of approval. Yippee. Anyhow. Fancy says, yeah, that's what I see, Ucker. I know. And I'm afraid to try to move anything around at this point. But whatever. Fill in the blank, I guess. Janelle Walker is here. Says, hi at Ucker, HNville. Yes, I know. I could move my head over here. At least get, or over this way. At least get John Phil. Hey, hi, it's John Phil here. John Phil checking in. John Phil. Hey, it's John Phil show. Thank you very much. I don't know. I guess I didn't really think this one out too good. Walter says, screw the White House briefing. Yeah, absolutely. I think Pete Buttigieg would be great, or there might be some other ones that would be great too. Who do you guys think would be great for this Democratic spokesperson daily briefing spokesperson. My vote's for Pete Buttigieg, but let me know what you think. Maybe there's some other ones that would be great too. AOC would be great, I think. But a lot of people get turned off by AOC for some reason. Even people on our side get turned off by her. I don't know. I don't know why. I guess they love the drone of a Chuck Schumer, or I don't know. I don't know what people think. I don't know how people. There's a lot of weird people who think a lot of weird things. Sylvain Quifon says FDR did it to Japanese during World War II. I don't know what did he do. What did he do? Oh, put him in the camps. Yeah, he did, but I'm not saying it's right. But we did just get the bomb fucked out of us at Pearl Harbor, so I don't know. I mean, it's not like he just did it for no fucking reason. Okay, hindsight's 2020. And we can go back and say, this was horrible. There's a lot of horrible shit that we did, but try to put yourself in the shoes of the people of the time. We just got the holy fucking shit kicked out of us at Pearl Harbor. I'm not saying that it's right. There's a lot of injustices that happen. A lot of people lost not their fortunes, but they just lost their incomes. They lost their businesses. They lost their livelihoods because of those internment camps. So I'm not saying it was right. But I am saying it's different than say, I don't know, rounding up Jews in Germany, or in present day RFK wanting to round up drug addicts. I think it's different. I think it's a little bit different. I think that's what's known as a false equivalency. Maybe, I don't know. OJ West just says, I'm still comatose. It's 9:41 a.m. here. Time to get out of bed. Yeah, get out of bed, lazy bones. Get out of bed. Roxanne Epstein, who's Pab? Oh, that would be, it says Tom Bias. Is it Dinky or Felonia? I'm trying to figure out, and I feel slow. Well, when they say Pab, I just think of Trump. So that's who I was thinking of. Tom Bias, I used to like to go camping. No opportunities anymore. I used to love to go camping too. We used to go to Yosemite almost every summer. My parents and me, and usually one of my cousins, like my cousin Dan or my cousin Little Mary. This is before my brother and sister were born. And then when they were born, we went up there too. We'd go to Yosemite like almost every year. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. I love Yosemite. And I haven't been there. I haven't been in Yosemite since my kids were little. Need to go back to Yosemite. Let's see. I'm just skipping down in the chat. I know I'm like a half hour behind. Ruben Michael says, greedy billionaires are never satisfied. Neither are most multimillionaires. I have met those kind of people. I was building a contractor for 31 years in Bend, Oregon. They are greedy. Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, in a sense, some people will say that's why they are rich, because they are greedy. That greed in the sense of drive and, and that kind of that work ethic. But then there's greed when it becomes bad is when, like I said before, no amount of money is ever good enough. No amount of profit is ever good enough. No amount of however much money you've got saved is ever good enough. It's never good enough. And that's when greed is bad. And that's when people need to be held in check, these people like that. And they should not be really placed in, they should not be in positions of power like Elon Musk is, and Trump even. Big Dog says, I like the background too, TJ. It looks like space truck. I'm space trucking. Thank you very much. OJ Adam West says, Ruben, my experience too in a different way. I kind of mid-threaded that one. I kind of mid-threaded it. Sylvain Covant, moving my wealth into Swiss francs. It's easy. Okay. You do that. You do that, Sylvain. Christina Weibel says, lawsuits, there will be. Absolutely. There already are a bunch of lawsuits going on. It's going on. It's going down. Sylvain Covant, $5 Canadian is $3.50 USA. Hey, I'll take it. Thank you, Nick Rich. Yeah, Yahoo. Yippee, I mean, yippee. Nick Rich, speaking of Nick Rich, he says it's 11:45, so I am about 16 minutes behind in the chat. Just so you know. Just so you know where I'm at. Fancy says my replacement card still hasn't arrived. I can't buy anything. Oh, yeah. I've had to do that recently a couple of times. Replace my card. Sylvain Coiffon says Tesla, the My Pillow of auto brands. Chris Doug, Tesla will go out of business in Europe. Yeah, especially Europe. They, what I've been hearing, that they're just, the Europeans just said no Tesla, and I hope more and more Americans follow suit. Because see, that was the thing. I mean, it seems like most, I don't know. I have no facts to back this up, but my feeling was, at least for the early, well, maybe not real early, but most of the Tesla buyers and fans of EVs would be more liberal, right? You would think they would be more on the liberal side. And so Musk has come out and completely alienated and pissed off the liberals, who I think were probably the majority of his customers. So talk about stupid. But when you're worth $400 billion, I guess you don't give a fuck anymore about, who you're going to piss off. But hopefully this will somehow hurt him. And if Tesla tanks, I don't know. It's hard to hurt someone that's worth that much kind of money, but maybe psychologically it'll hurt him. Arizona Sunflowers this year. I don't know why it's showing up on an old show when I just did it today. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I kind of skipped down, so I'm not sure exactly what Arizona Sunflower was saying, but I'm glad you're here, Arizona Sunflowers. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you. And I'm skipping down. So if I skip some stuff, it's just because, for brevity, I guess. Is it, or because like I said, the more I read, it just slows me down. So I'm just skipping down a little bit. Like, let's see. Sylvain Covant says, many liberals bought Teslas thinking about the environment. See there, I was just saying that, and that's what Sylvain was saying. Sylvain says, no MAGA buy Teslas, not even now. Maybe they buy the Cybertrucks, but there's something, a little bit more. They might be more that way, but yeah, you're probably right. Steven Sayers Musk sells plenty. Well, I think half the cars he sells is to China, probably. You might be right, Steve. Was that Steve? Yeah. Brooklyn says, Brooklyn, New York, 471. Says, I see a Cybertruck at the gym sometimes. I won't even park near. Christina Weibel, Dinky did it. Sylvain Covant says, Tesla profits in China per vehicle margins far lower than any other market. Soulcraft says, Teslas look and drive great. Oh, yeah, Soulcraft. It's sad that douche is the owner. Yeah, I wish that somehow he could be removed and someone who's at least halfway as decent could take it over. I'm thinking Mark Cuban or something. I don't know. But that's kind of, that's kind of out there. All right, skipping on down. I'm skipping down. Kelly's here, defund felon. Thanks, Kelly, for being here, by the way. Good to see you. Tom Bias says the only way out is equitable taxation of the wealthy and the ultra wealthy. And the only way that's going to happen is if we stop electing Republicans and we start electing more Democrats and we get the majorities that we need. in Congress and we get the White House, it's a whole thing. It's like a whole thing that has to happen. Arizona Sunflower says, sounds great to me. Trucker John, kick them out of being able to get more money from our subsidy programs. Sylvain Couvon says, all Teslas have 6+ cameras with every advanced security system called Sentry. Has motion detection. Think twice. Hide your identity before messing with them. They've got all my info probably by now. Sylvain Covant, Chevy Equinox EV wins Car of the Year Motor Week. And I've been driving the Chevy Bolt. And since then, I've been doing that for a few weeks now. And since then, I've really fallen in love with that little car. And I'm wanting to at least test drive an Equinox. And I've probably watched dozens and dozens of Chevy Equinox videos on YouTube. It looks like a great car. I really want to test drive one. Because I've been wanting to buy an EV and I've been wanting to buy a Tesla for a few years. Ever since I've been driving them 2 years ago. I drove for about a year and a half. I was driving a Tesla. I didn't buy it. I was renting it. But now that I've been driving the Bolt, it's really woken me up. I'm woke. I'm woke about that. There are other vehicles, other EVs out there that are even better than Tesla. I love the Tesla because here's what I like about Tesla. I love the performance. It has great performance. It's very quick, very fast. It's very nimble. It has great handling. It's very comfortable. It's a small car, but when you get into it, it feels very spacious and roomy and comfortable. Okay, those are the things I like about it, and I think they look good. Some people don't like the way they look. I think they look great. The Model 3s, not the Cybertrucks, but okay, the Model 3, and I like the Ys, even though I think the Model 3 looks better. But I like the Y better because it is bigger and roomier and easier for me to get in and out of that, and it has bigger cargo space in the back. That's the only reason why I was going to go to a Model Y over a Model 3. But here's the things I don't like about the Model Y that I've noticed, and it's the poor build quality. It's a little flimsy. The body panels don't line up. The interior, like I've mentioned before, there's the middle column that's between the back seat and the front seat. There's a middle column. That plastic piece, almost every Model 3 I ever had, and I had over the 18 or 19 months that I drove them, I had probably 7 or 8 different Model 3 vehicles. Maybe not everyone, but almost every one of those, that plastic piece would pop out. And for the life of me, I could not get it to pop back in. I don't see that on the Chevy Bolt. I've had 2 Chevy Bolts. So, because I just had to get another one, because the other one, it's a long story, but I had to change contracts, and when I did that, they switched me out. It's made by GM. The build quality on it, it's solid. It's sturdy. I mean, it's just like driving, an Impala or something. I mean, it's a well-made car. This little Chevy Bolt is a fucking well-made car. And there's no issues with the build quality whatsoever. And I would suspect that would be the same with the Equinox. So the build quality is there. I think the technology is there. The EV, that part of it. I think I get way better, mileage out of my Bolt than I did on the Tesla. With the Tesla, I had to charge every single day. Sometimes with this Bolt, I can go 2 or 3 days before I got to charge. So, fuck you, Elon Musk, and your shitty ass fucking Teslas. Like I said, I love the performance and I love the way they look, but they're not built very well. And I don't think they're very efficient compared to this Chevy Bolt's way more efficient. Anyhow, let me skip on down a little bit here. Sylvain Covon says Clinton repealed Glass-Steagall, serving Citibank, ruined USA Bank. Yeah, that was a horrible thing. And I remember for years and years, me and other Democrats saying, to Obama to restore Glass-Steagall, and to some extent they did. Not necessarily restoring it, but they did do some banking reforms and stuff that brought some of it back, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So Vane can probably correct me on that. Roxanne Epstein says, I'm not waiting at an electric fill-up station for hours to recharge. I love my Ford Mustang. She's my baby. Had her since she was built. Hey, Roxanne, to each their own. And I love Mustangs too. I love the gas-powered cars. I love the Mustang. I love the Camaros. I love the Challengers. I love all those gas-powered cars. I love them. I love them. Gotta have them. If I ever win a lottery, I'll probably buy all of those cars just to have in my collection because I love them. But here's the thing. The only reason I charge, and usually it's not hours and hours. It's an hour at the most, 45 minutes, whatever, to give me a big. I could just do a 10 or 15 minute charge, and it would probably give me enough for my shift for that night. I don't have to even do the whole hour, but when I do that, that means I get to a 85, 86%, or almost 90% charge or something, and that's going to give me enough juice for at least the next 2 nights. But if I had my own house, or if I had an apartment that had a level 2 charger, which some of them do now, or if I had my own house and I could install my own charger in my garage, I would certainly do that. And I would almost never have to go to any public charger or any charging station out of my house unless I was on a road trip. And you just plug in overnight while you're asleep, and when you wake up in the morning, your car is charged. But like I said, you don't have to sit at the charger for an hour or an hour and a half to go. They don't even recommend you go all the way to 100% anyhow. But if all you need is, if all you're driving is around town, doing your chores, doing your to-do things, your shopping, taking the kids here or there, and you're just driving 30, 40 miles or 50 miles, you don't need to charge up for an hour. You could charge up for 15 or 20 minutes, and that'll give you all you need for your day. That's at the public chargers. Now, if you're, like I say, home charging, just plug in overnight, and you'll wake up in the morning and you'll be completely charged. Steven Sayre says 95% tax on income over. Yeah, that would be kind of like the way they used to do it back in the 50s and stuff, right? Tom Bias, still a conservative move, pay off the debt. You know who pays off the debt more? It's Democrats. You know who drives up debts? It's Republicans. Look it up. At me, bro. Sylvain Kofal says, all new EVs can be charged in about a half hour at EVgo chargers, Electrify America chargers, or at home. Right. And I've been doing mine at Electrify America. Well, it depends on when you say charge. Like a half hour charge, that gives you a pretty good charge. I'm trying to think what the percentage of your, like, let's say if I went in there at 20% state of charge, and if I charge for 30 minutes, that would probably get me, I probably would go from 20% to probably like 60%. I think. I'm just estimating. So say it gets me to 60% in 20 minutes. And according to the gauge, that's going to give me well over 100 miles of driving. I'm trying to remember what would 60% be. Oh yeah, it would probably be. Oh yeah, it would be well over 100, I think. But anyhow, just so you know. Marcia says $35 per day for me versus Musk's core millionaires and billionaires. Look at their non-useful with a $5 super sticker. Thank you, non-useful. Says Musk is the wealthiest individual in the world. As of February 2025, Forbes estimated his net worth at $397 billion. Thank you very much, non-useful. Yippee for that super sticker. I do appreciate you. And not only that, with some good facts there. But I'm trusting you are real. But it sounds right. It sounds about right from what I've heard. Arizona Sunflower says, I get approximately $1,200 a month, so that's about $40 a day, enough for food, but not much else. Yeah. Yep. Elon Musk gets $8 million a day. That's just from the government. From the government, he gets $8 million per day, and for his shitty rockets that blow up, and for his shitty, I guess, Starlink or whatever. I don't know what, and for propping up Tesla, which have very poor build quality. And apparently his Cybertrucks are blowing up at a 17x rate of other vehicles. So there's that. Roxanne says, mine's not a convertible, but she does have the pony front end with the little round lights. She's a 2006. I love Mustangs, man. They are, I think they're Ford's greatest car that they ever made was a Ford Mustang. Absolutely. Brooklyn says, Roxanne Epstein, I have a red convertible Toyota Solera 2008. I just reached 80,000 miles. That's the thing about those Toyotas. You can get a lot of miles out of them. Roxanne Epstein, I love that Trucker John knew what I meant. And now I don't know what you meant. Don't bias. I'd go camping with a golf cartel. So Nick Rich checking in at noon. So now I'm 18 minutes behind. I was 16 minutes. Now I'm 18 minutes behind. So I'm not making up much ground. I'm going to have to scroll down in the chat here. Skipping some chats. So don't be offended if I skipped over your chat. Just trying to get a little more current, with what's going on here. Roxanne Epstein says, oh, shit, bro. Tom Bias. I'm so sorry, my friend. Oh, see, now I skipped. I needle dropped, and I don't know what happened to Tom. I guess it's... Oh, we're talking about Tom got thrown off chat for trying to give a simple answer. Okay, I don't know. Well, I don't know about that one. Non-usual says, growing up, I was able to see all the Western, Southwestern, Northwestern America, including Canada, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. It's great to travel. I was blessed then that when I was a kid, every summer my dad was able to he had a great job, a great union job. And every year, once he got a certain seniority, I think right off the bat, he got like 2 weeks of paid vacation. My dad ended up working at this place for over 50 years, but half of that as a employee, the other half is in management, whatever. But but he had a great union job, great pay, and then he got 3 weeks paid vacation. Then he got 4 weeks paid vacation. All these lots of vacation time. So every summer we would go on a road trip. It seems like if it wasn't Yosemite, it was somewhere else. Like we did a couple of cross country trips to Minnesota because my dad was from Minnesota, still had family and friends in Minnesota. So we made 2 different road trips to Minnesota, and my dad didn't just take the straightest route, because we drove, and we didn't fly. We didn't, we made a road trip out of it, and my dad would detour us, and so we would go through New Mexico. We saw Carlsbad Caverns, and we went through Texas, and we went up through all these states, and we would see whatever things there were to see. We would stop and see the sights of these states, and it was great, And then on the way back, we sort of took a southern route to go up, and then coming back, we kind of looped around. We would go through the Dakotas. We saw the Badlands, and we saw Yellowstone, and we saw all these stuff coming down the other way. So this is as the first time I think I was 8, and the second time I think I was 12 when we did those road trips. So those were great to see the country like that, and to see all the wonderful things that every state has. Every state, like I've said before. We talk about flyover states and red states and, shit states or whatever. People want to say that California is a shit state because they hate California. Other people say they don't like this state, they don't like that state. I'm born and raised in California, so I will stick up for California forever. But I love Every state I've gone through, there's something there of value. I mean, even if it's just the value of seeing something unique or beautiful, in beautiful nature. There's every single state. We are so blessed to have this country that we took. Let's face it, through our westward expansion, we took this country from the natives, the indigenous, but we're blessed that we have this country because it's so beautiful and so vast. And let me just say, since I did touch on this thing about the indigenous, if it wasn't us going from the Atlantic to the Pacific and staking this land and claiming this land, if it wasn't us, do you think the Indians would have been able to fight off the Spaniards or the Mexicans or the Chinese or the Russians or any other, the French or whoever else was big in those days? Or it might have been a big combination of all those staking out claims in California and the Northwest, the Southwest. So just think of that. If we hadn't done, our manifest destiny and gone all the way to the Pacific, we might only be half the size we are now, and the other half might be part Russia, part China, part Spain or Mexico, or probably Mexico at that point, right? So I think it worked out for the best. All in all, I think it worked out for the best. As much as there's some atrocities and some horrible treatment of indigenous people here, I think it worked out for the best. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Ruben Michael says Ronald Reagan gave the wealthiest the biggest tax break. We need to tax them back to the 70s. Yeah, but then Reagan had to back off on that because he gave too big of a tax break and really caused, I think, a lot big inflation and just was taking the economy. And he had to roll that back a little bit. Arizona Sunflower says Pete Buttigieg or AOC. I've liked her for years. I like both of them now. Me too. Says, I heard today Elon has a 13th child. They just keep popping out, man. Tom Bias, I can only buy $1,500 vehicles. Hey, man, as long as your truck's running, that's all you need. I'm not asking everybody to go and rush and buy EVs. I'm a proponent of EVs, and I think we need to wean ourselves off of fossil fuels. But I'm not saying that if you drive a gas-powered vehicle that you're an evil person or a bad person. You're not. We've been driving, internal combustion engines for 100 years. So I'm not faulting it. Like I said, I still, whenever I see a new Camaro or a Challenger or a Mustang or even the new Corvettes, those are awesome. And I could see myself, let's say if I won Powerball, I could see myself buying all those cars just to have them and making my own little racetrack and just fucking running those things around a racetrack. I could see myself doing that. That would be my little fun thing. But does that mean that, I wouldn't still be a proponent of EVs? I'm totally a proponent of EVs, and I think we need to get off of burning all this fossil fuel that we do. But if we have look, it's not going to kill us to have a few, kind of as a hobbyist, cars around. And like I say, all you can afford is a $1,500 car. Fine. You don't need to feel guilty. You don't need to feel guilty or bad or feel like I'm, blaming you or anything like that. You do what you can do when you can do it. If you can't afford an EV, look, a lot of us are broke and we have very low budgets. It's just good that you got a car. If you got your truck to get you around town, that's the main thing. You're not the problem, Tom. The problem is with the Donald Trumps of the world that don't want to embrace this change, and they want to keep us on the old system. That's the problem. And he does that by taking us out of the Paris climate change thingy or whatever it was, and things like that. That's what Donald Trump does. That's what keeps us. That's what holds us back. We, as a society, as a government, as a world power, we need to have policy that will encourage, green, renewable energy as opposed to fossil fuels. That's not saying that you in your truck or your car that you're bad because you're driving that. You're not. It's not on you. It's on Trump and those type of people. But of course, and we what we can do is support a political party or candidates that are also in favor of promoting green renewable energy, like AOC, for instance. Big Dogs NC says, my Honda truck better last the rest of my life. These $700 truck payments kill me. I'm over halfway there now. Well, good luck on that. Hondas are, I think Hondas are pretty good, but I don't know. If I was going to get a vehicle that I wanted to last my whole life, I might buy a Toyota, because those things go forever, it seems like. Okay, I'm just skipping down through the chat here. Kelly says, felon has access to all sorts of intel, perhaps even competing bids for government contracts. He did just land something for the trucks. Last November, he landed several million to put in charging stations. Speaking of charging stations, right around the corner from me, they're putting in a whole row of new Tesla chargers. Which, if anything comes out of Tesla, I hope it's, and that survives, I hope it's their charging network. Because that's the one thing that they've done really, really well. If that can survive, that would be a good thing. And if all the manufacturers would go to that system, that nozzle, as I call it, the outlet, the plug, that would be wonderful. It should be universal. None of this company has this type of a plug, and this one has this plug, and then that's ridiculous. It's like if you went to a gas station and every gas station brand had a different nozzle, and you couldn't use it without some sort of adapter that you had to buy or something. Sylvain Coiffant, speaking of charging stations, Sylvain Coiffant says that charging stations are far cheaper, easier to install than gas stations. No environmental worries like leaky tanks in the ground. Right. You're absolutely right. Okay, I'm skipping down again. Nick Rich says, all I can see behind John is Ucker. Yeah, I know. We've talked about that. But I don't think there's anything I can do about it at this point. So, Big Dog NC, I love this truck, but I should have kept my 2005 Acura. Buyer's remorse it happens all the time. Robert Perez says, on a full charge now, on a full charge, how far can you get on a full charge on the highway? In the Bolt, I haven't taken it out on the highway, but I do know that a few nights ago or last week, I don't know if I told this story or not, but I I charged the Bolt up to, I think, 86% state of charge. 86%, okay? And I was driving it, I don't know, I guess a couple days of doing my Lyft driving. And I remember, and usually what I do, once it gets down to about, because on the gauge, it doesn't tell you the state of charge. It has it listed in miles. So when it gets down to 40 miles, that's equivalent to like a quarter of a tank, I think, or at least on the little thing, or maybe it's eighth of a tank. I don't know, but when it gets down to 40 miles, or actually, I think when it gets to 39 miles, it's kind of like on your gauge when you have like the gas light comes on, like say you need to get gas. It's kind of like that. So it'll, instead of being green, it turns to like yellow or orange or orangey yellow. And so what I usually do when I'm driving is I wait till it gets down to that, and I know I still have plenty of miles. I still got 39 miles left. And so once it gets to there, that if I'm still out driving, then I'll shut the app off, and then I'm done. And then I'll just charge up probably the next day. I'll just go home and I'll charge up the next day. But on this one particular night, I remember I picked somebody up. It went to 39 miles, and so I was going to make them my last people. And there's a thing where when you're driving, you kind of scroll up and you can make it where it doesn't shut the app off, but it makes it that you won't get any more rides. It's like, so the ride you're doing is your last ride. Okay, do you guys follow me? And so I picked these people up. It went to 39 miles on the gauge. I picked them up. I was going to make them my last ride, and I did it. And I thought I clicked last ride. So yeah, I'm taking them to their destination, and then as I'm doing that, usually what will happen is if the thing's on, then another ride will come in the queue, and they call it in the queue, and that's what happened. And it shouldn't have happened because if I had properly shut it off, but apparently I didn't. I didn't hit the button right or something, and this ride still came in. Now I could have canceled the ride, but then I thought, okay, and I forget how much after I dropped them off, or I was dropping them off. It did, and it just so happens it was a long trip. It was from Fremont Street all the way down to South Park, which is like, that's got to be 15 miles or something, and it's on the freeway. And then when you do that does take a lot of juice, it seems like. So I went from 39 miles left. By the time I dropped them off, I think it might have been like 12 miles or something like that. I don't know. But then I thought, okay, I'm going to do this last. I'll do this one, the one that popped in. I didn't cancel it. I went ahead and did it. I thought, okay, I'm going to do this one, and then I made sure that it was off. And so I went and I picked somebody up. I forget where I took them, but whatever it was, long story short, okay, I did that last one, and then it was getting really, really low, and it was getting like down to like just a few miles left. I'm doing everything I can with my regen. There's a little paddle on the thing where on your steering wheel. So for those of you who don't know, regen is regenerative braking. So when you do one pedal driving, you don't use the brake. You just let off the gas, and the car will brake, and it uses the brakes. There's like electricity that's produced from regeneration, and it's able to put some juice back into the battery. So I was regening, and then they have a little paddle when you press that, where it increases that regen juice. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it's even helping you get more power to the battery, more juice to the battery. So I'm doing that. I'm doing all this stuff, and the nearest charging station from where I was at, it was like, I don't know, I want to say it was like 10 miles away, or maybe, no, I think it was like only like 5 or 6 miles, but it seemed like 10. And I took it, so I'm regenning, I'm hitting the paddle, I'm getting over to the place. I'm not even, and then it got to the point where it wouldn't even show how many miles were left. It just said, you need to charge. It's like, you need to charge now. You need to get to a charger. Get to a charger. That's what the little message was coming up. So I finally get the charger. I roll in there and back in. I charge it up. And then when I plug it in to the charger, that's when the readout on the charger, it says that I was at 1% state of charge. 1%. So I went from, 86% to one down to 1%, and the mileage that I ran, that I did 230 miles. So so basically that was a really good test, and I don't recommend it. I didn't try to do that. I would never, I would never want to be dead on the side of the road. I mean, that would have been a hassle. I had a flat tire, and look how many hours that took just to get the flat tire the other day. But if I did run out of juice and I'm on the side of the road, then I would call road service, and they would have to probably tow me, or, load me on a flatbed, take me to a charger and all that. But I would never want to do that. I didn't. But it just so happens that this situation happened, and I was able to get a good idea of what 85%, how many miles I could get out of 85%, and I got 230 out of that little bolt. So I was really kind of pleased with the results of that. That was a long story. I don't know if I lost some of you along the way, because some of you have no idea what EVs are about, and this is all like mumbo jumbo probably to you. Some of you probably are much more knowledgeable than I am about EVs, and you're probably thinking, what a simpleton I am. But it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, so let me skip down. Let me skip on down. I see Jolie said hi to MJ Daniel. Oh yeah, hi MJ Daniel. There you are. Yeah, Sylvain is talking about the Chevy Silverado 400-mile range. I've seen a lot of, because sometimes you don't know if you can believe the EPA estimates and whatever's on that sticker. But I've seen quite a few YouTube videos of people that test these things, and everyone that I've seen on the Silverado, they've gotten well over whatever the sticker said. They got like 400, and they did run them empty. That's what these guys do on these videos. They run them empty, but they usually have like someone following them, or they have a thing in place. But I've seen guys get 440 miles. One guy got 460 miles on a Silverado EV. So yeah, but it's $100,000 fucking truck. I mean, that's crazy. Who's got $100,000 to fucking buy a pickup truck or any vehicle for that matter? So Vonko saying Dodge Charger is EV only now. I've been seeing that Scat Pack, that Dodge Charger. A few weeks ago, they did a big event where they invited a lot of YouTube creators that do like car reviews, and I've watched probably 3 dozen of those. I love that car. I think it looks awesome. It looks fun. I don't know how efficient it is. I don't know what kind of mileage you get out of it, like EV mileage. I think it looks sexy as hell, and I love that car. If I was, hey, Powerball, I'm buying me the new Dodge EV Scat Pack. All right? Just so you know. Sylvain Cuisine says that Electrify America is owned by Volkswagen. Sylvain Cuisine, EV Go chargers are an American company. I've been using the Electrify America because they seem to be more prevalent here than EV Go. There's only, in Vegas, I think there's only, I looked at, because I have the EV Go app. They're really kind of hard to find, or at least, I mean, you can find them, but there's not very many. Electrify America, at least there's a few more of them, and there's one right down the street. There's a few that are really close to me. So that's why I've been using the Electrify America. And I've gotten it down where it is pretty easy to use. When I first started driving EVs 2 years ago, and I rented a Polestar 2 for a week, and I remember having real difficulties with EVgo and Electrify America. But now I'm wondering if it's just because I was new to it all, and maybe because now I use Electrify America, and it's almost as fast as me using, in terms of hooking it up and getting it going and start the charging. It's not as fast as a Tesla. Tesla is like you back in, you stick the nozzle, and it takes like 6 seconds. EVgo, the process, you pull in, take it out, you plug in, you get the thing going. It might be, I don't know, 20 seconds. And that's Electrify. I haven't really done EVgo since I've been doing the Bolt. But 2 years ago I did, and I remember I had a lot of trouble getting anything going. I had to call the 800 number. Like, why isn't it working? And I have a feeling that all had to do with me being really new to using EVs. Probably. And if I were to do it now, EVgo, I probably would because I'm kind of like an old pro now. I'm like an old pro. So that's how things are. When we go to new things, there is a learning curve. We've been driving fossil fuel vehicles, internal combustion engines for over 100 years. So it's like in our DNA now. I mean, you could pull into a gas station with your and get out, put a nozzle in with your eyes closed. I mean, that's how second nature it is to us. So going to an EV and charging and finding a charging station or plugging in, all that stuff, it's there's a learning curve. Just know that you're going to have a learning curve, but you'll still learn, and eventually it will become second nature to you. But if you're driving a fossil fuel internal combustion engine and that's all you can afford, or you really love your Mustang, you really love your car, I have no problem with that. I'm just saying that overall, in general, we need to get off of fossil fuels. But I don't think it has to be 100%. You know what I mean? I think there's room in our ecosystem, in our climate, whatever. I think we have room where we can support having, let's just say, in general terms, if 70%, 75%, let's say, of the vehicles are on the road are, let's say we could magically turn them into, non-polluting EVs or at least renewable energy, whether that was electricity, whether that's the fuel cells, the hydrogen fuel cell type of thing, whatever. But they're not emitting any tailpipe emission. That's really the biggest part of it, or at least half of the battle there. And let's say 75. Let's say we got to 75% or 80% of vehicles on the road were not ICE engines. I believe that our global climate could handle 20 or 25% of the vehicles being, fossil fuel driven. I really do. Maybe I'm wrong. So the point I'm trying to make is, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't have to be, all electric. I think there's room for collectors and people who eventually will be collectors. And now we're still getting out of the ICE way of doing things, the ICE vehicles. But I don't think it has to be 100% banned. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Robert Perez says, I want to travel across America in an EV car. Is it recommended or hybrid? Well, you can do it. But right now, you could take an EV across country. But it will be challenging. It will take effort. It will take research. It will take trip planning. Way more than, like I said, we've been driving fossil fuel vehicles, ICE engines, for over 100 years. It's in our DNA. It's second nature. You can get in the car, and if you're in San Diego and you want to go to New York, you can just get in the car, hop. We have a great interstate system, and it'll get you right there in 3 days or whatever, And you can get a gas station at every off ramp, and you don't have to worry about it. You really don't have to pre-trip, other than look at the map and go, okay, I'm gonna head out on, Interstate 10, and then I'm gonna hook, go up there, or maybe just take the 10 all the way to 95. That'll get you to Florida or whatever, and then you can just go up the coast to New York. Easy peasy, and you'll have a gas station at every off ramp. You don't have to, so you don't have to worry about it. With an EV, you're going to have to chart it out. You're going to have to look at the usually EVs will have a screen that will show you where the chargers are. And you're going to have to navigate it. You're going to get your navigation, put it in there, and it'll probably route you to chargers. And you're going to have to be conscious of the fact of like how far the charger is and whether or not you're going to make it. So it's good right now. The way things are, it would definitely be a challenge, but you could do it. And unfortunately, that 3-day cross-country trip, I'm just saying, like, if you just fucking just got in the car and drove and you didn't really stop too much other than to sleep, every night just go to a hotel, sleep. You could drive straight through if you wanted. If you had 2 drivers, you could get cross-country in, like, I don't know, a day and a half probably. But let's say you just got in the car, you drove every night, get a hotel in your gas-powered car. You could do that really easy peasy. But in an EV, you're going to have to really route it out and be conscious of the fact that you can't pass up a charger, otherwise you're going to be dead on the road. Your car will just die, and then you're going to have to get towed to a charger and all that kind of stuff. But it can be done. And the point I was going to make. Okay, so maybe the sad matter right now is that, like I said, in the car, maybe you can get cross country if it's just you or something in 3 days or whatever. In an EV, I think unfortunately, it might take 6 days. I don't know. It might take 5 days, 4 days, 5 days. It's not going to take. It's going to be slower because of the charging. Unless you can, depending on your range, I guess. If you could have a Silverado and you're getting 400 miles range, and say you drive 400 miles. Well, at 400 miles a day. How many times does 400 go into 3,000? 7. That's 7. That's over 7 days, huh? That would be 7 days. No, is that right? That would take you 7 days at 400 miles a day. Is that right? Because I'm pretty sure I've made cross country in 3 days, but maybe not. Maybe 4 days. But whatever it is, it's probably going to be slower. I was just trying to think. Like I say, if you drove 400 miles, let's say if you had a car that, because I think some of the Lucents go 400 miles. Model S, I think, goes 400 miles. If you were able to just do that, and if you could make sure hotels had charge. See, that's the thing. You don't know. You gotta know where you're gonna be. You gotta know if there's gonna be a charger there at the end of the day. So that's why you can't really do that. You have to just charge multiple times a day. So right now, it would be a hassle. It's not gonna be the same as a gas-powered car. Not right now, but someday it will be. Someday the battery ranges are gonna. I'm telling you, someday 500 miles, 600 miles, 800 miles, it's gonna be common to get an 800-mile range, I think, someday. Maybe 10 years from now. In 5 years from now, it might be more common, 400 or 500 or something. Anyhow, I don't know. But just know that. I hope I didn't make it even more confusing. Roxanne says, I agree, Ford's best vehicle. Yes, Mustang, absolutely. Absolutely. Stephen Sayers, 499 super sticker. Thank you. Yippee! Stephen Sayers, thank you so much. I do appreciate you. $4.99. I don't know how long ago you did that, so sorry it took so long for me to see it. Susie Jones is here. Susie says, my sister-in-law had 1969 avocado green Corolla. She drove over 400,000 miles before she traded it in 2019. Unless she has a time machine. I don't know. Big Dog NC says, does everyone have pet names for neighbors? I have Loud Truck Guy, Hummer H2 Guy, the Russian Mafia House, Abner and Gladys Kravitz, Nosy Neighbors. Well, that sounds like quite the colorful neighborhood there. Fancy says, I call one the cannibal. That's disturbing. So Vanco Fawn says, Gulf Marine, it happens if you go in MAGA chats and harass them, laughing out loud. That was a mid-thread needle drop type of a thing. Arizona Sunflower says, wish I could charge myself during the night. Yeah, that would be nice, huh? Roxanne Epstein says, my neighbor has sweet neighbors. My neighbor had sweet neighbors. That's good. Yeah, you got lucky there. Cian says, I think it's best if I get my massage. Still on and listening, or maybe message. My chair is in front of my laptop, but my only 1 meter further from the chair. I'm mid-thread on something. Sometimes I am mid-thread and don't know what's going on. So I'm going to skip on down, try to get more down there. Michael McAndrews is here. Hey, Michael, good to see you. Thanks for dropping on into the old driver's house. We got 58 watching, 81 thumbs ups. Thanks, guys, for those thumbs ups. I do appreciate you. Michael says, got to go snow blow so my wife can get in the driveway after work. It's still snowing here. Dang. Yeah, man. You're in snow country up there in Michigan. So get the snow blowing so the wife can get in the driveway. Slavenko Font says, Toyota, Lexus, Subaru, Mazda, Honda, Acura, top 4 quality brands. Yeah, those are good ones. Good cars. Toyota, Subaru is one of the top selling cars for a reason, I think. Not just for any old reason. Mazda, the Honda Acura, yeah, those are good cars. Ask the Mustang is EV. The Mustang. But they got the Mach-E. A lot of people don't like it because it doesn't look, it doesn't really look like a Mustang. It just basically, it kind of has the Mustang taillights and the Mustang headlights, and it has the Mustang badge. Other than that, it really doesn't look like a Mustang. And a lot of people hate the car just because of that. Because we're used to the cool, sleek, sexy Mustang. And this is not that. This has got the EV build to it. It's like that stocky top, kind of scrunched in and built up. And unfortunately, I wish they could just make a regular Mustang EV with a regular Mustang body. But apparently, the way the battery packs are, the way things go, I guess they can't. Having said all that, I kind of like the Mustang Mach-E's. I would like to drive one, to test it out. Because it does look very comparable, at least in size and everything, to the Model Y, which is what I told you the Model Y I really liked. But I would like to try the Mach-E, regardless of the fact that it doesn't really look like a Mustang. It doesn't look like the cool, sexy, kind of low to the ground Mustang, that we have now. But if they could make a, like Dodge made the Scat Pack, I don't know why Ford can't make a Mustang EV that looks like a Mustang. And then the one that they have now, the Mach-E, because I think they just wanted to get that name out, the Mustang Mach-E. It is probably their most popular car, other than the F-150 pickup truck, because they sell tons of those things. But the Mach-E, I think they should try to make a Mustang like Dodge did with the Scat Pack. And I think they should make the Mach-E more like an Explorer, like a Ford Explorer EV, and go that route. Because it is more like an SUV, the Mach-E. Anyhow, I'm not head of Ford marketing or their development team, so take that with a grain of salt, I guess. So Vanquish Font says, fun fact, the first Detroit Auto Show, late 1800s, had more EVs than gasoline cars. Now, I believe that because the gasoline engine really wasn't all that great at that time. And, gasoline wasn't really being produced like it is. Fancy says, Gazoon type trigger. Did I sneeze? I don't even remember if I sneezed. That's how long ago, that's how far I am back in the chat. I don't even remember sneezing. So Vancouver Musk has at least 5 more kids than he is saying. Tom Bias, there will probably never be a $1,500 used EV. I don't know about that, Tom. You should go on YouTube and search out of spec reviews. I think it's called out of spec reviews. I watch a lot of their videos. They do mainly EVs, but they do also gas-powered reviews. But they mainly do EVs. And their main guy, his name is Kyle. He's kind of a young guy, probably about 30, young kid, smart. I don't always agree with him 100%, but you should probably never agree with anyone 100% on everything. But he did. You could probably look up a video. I forget the title of it. It might have been like, I found the cheapest EV or something like that. And he went through some used car website and he found I think it was a Nissan Leaf, if I'm not mistaken. And it was an old one, and it was used, of course. And I think it ran pretty good. He found it; it was good running, and I think he had to do some little fixes to it, but he got it running, and those Nissans, I think they only had like 40 miles of range, but he's like, and he was running it around town for a while. Because if all you're doing, like I said, if all you're doing is around town stuff, then that would be great. Now, that wouldn't be good for a road trip, but that was Robert that wants the road trip, not Tom. And it's not a truck; it's a little tiny Nissan Leaf. But you should maybe watch that video, and that might give you ideas of how to find used vehicles and used EVs. And I forget what he paid for it. It might not have been $1,500, but it was cheap. I forget what he paid for it. It might have been a few thousand. It was more than $1,500. But it might have only been like $2,000 or $3,000 or something like that. I forget. But look up that video. It's like from Kyle from Out of Spec Reviews. If you go to their page, their YouTube channel, you could probably just search his channel, and it'll come up. It's something like, I found the cheapest EV or something like that. And then that might, and I think there are, if you watch the video, I think it has some of the websites that you went to look for vehicles, and that might give you an idea, and you might be able to find a used one. Because there's lots, EVs have been out long enough now that there's probably lots of used ones on the market. I don't know if you'll find a $1,500 one that's any good, but you might find one for $2,000 or $2,500. I don't know. I don't know. Gino Maynard, member for 8 months, driver. Thank you, Gino. Thank you so much. Gino, you're getting a yippee. I appreciate you, Gino. I appreciate all my members. I appreciate everyone watching. We got 58 watching, 83 thumbs ups. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Let's get some more viewership here. And let's keep the show growing. We're at 3,780 subscribers. Let's get that number up. I appreciate you, Gino. Thanks for hanging out with us in the old driver's lounge. Susie Jones, what do they charge you to charge your car? Well, with me, it's 42 cents a kilowatt hour. And so let's just say, for instance, last night I charged up to, I started at 18% state of charge. I did run it up to 80 something. I think I went to 83% state of charge. And it cost me $18 and something cents. And that lasted last night. That will last for my shift today. And then I'll charge up tomorrow, which will be Sunday. So I charged up on Friday to 80. I think it was 83%. And I'll charge up on Sunday again. So that's like $18 for 2 days of driving. So $9 a day if you want to do it like that. I don't know if that's good or bad. I think it's cheaper than gas powered though, because my first couple of weeks of doing rideshare, I had to use a Ford Escort, the little SUV. I remember I had to fill up about every other day, and it was like, and gas was higher, a little bit higher than I think, but gas is getting back up to those prices again. And I remember spending $55, $60 about every other day, so about $30 a day in gas. For that Ford Escort. And now I'm doing about $9 a day. And even less if I don't charge it up that much. I don't need to go to 83%. You know. But anyhow. I'm going to skip down a little bit because I know I'm really behind in the chats. In these things that we call chats. Golf Marine says, can we all take a moment today to concentrate sending positive energy to the brave defenders of Ukraine? They fight for us. Slava Ukraini, absolutely, Golf Marine. I think we need to pray or send good thoughts or write our Congress people or shout from the rooftops that Ukraine must be supported and that Russia needs to get the fuck out and get nothing. They get nothing. They don't get any land. They don't get nothing. I see Ovi Ivo here, last train to Knoxville. Hey, Ovi, good to see you. Thanks for being here. John Deff is here. I just bought a 2024 RAV4. Now, the cab company that I'm going to be driving for, hopefully, if everything goes through okay in the next couple weeks, they use propane, I think. I think that's what I read. And they claim that that's, cleaner, and I guess it is, than regular gasoline. Walter McCaver says, Trucker John, in all your travels, did you ever see Niagara Falls and then take Queen Elizabeth Highway to Toronto, the CN Tower in Toronto? I never did. I never did go to Niagara Falls, and I'd never been to Canada. Ivo, Trucker John, I need a ride to Vegas. Well, I'm in Vegas, so I can't give you a ride to Vegas because I'm in Vegas. Sylvain Couvin says, Government, check out Aziza Eskander. She is live now. Got her on in the background. Wes Webb's here. Hey, Wes. Wes Webb. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. Wes Webb says, if the Army and the Navy ever took upon heaven's scenes, they will find the streets are guarded by Swiss Army men. Okay. Skipping on down. MJ Daniel says, with DJT and idiot Republicans running things, EV in America will probably go backward just like everything else back to the 1800s. Well, I don't think that far. And I do agree that they're going to do everything they can to slow things down. But I kind of think, and maybe I'm naive in this, but I kind of think that, the cat's out of the bag, the toothpaste is out of the tube, whatever, on this now. I don't know if they can really stop the momentum. I don't think they can stop it. Maybe they slow it down a little bit. But I think, I don't know. I think there's just a lot of momentum going. Never say never, though. I mean, you never know. But I don't think it's going to take us all the way back to the 1800s. I think there's definitely a market for it, for the cars, because you're seeing more and more EVs. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm not wrong. Nick Rich, hydrogen fuel. Yeah, I'm a proponent of a multi-pronged attack on fossil fuel usage, whether it's electric cars, hydrogen fuel cells. I think those might end up being the one that ultimately wins. I don't know, but for right now, EV is the way to go, I think. John Deff, all new Camrys are hybrid now, and I think hybrid is a great. I think it's a great stepping stone, a bridge, so to speak, from complete ICE engines into EV engines. I think hybrids are a great way to go. And I tell people all the time, if you're not ready for an EV, but you want more fuel economy, then go with a hybrid. Because it does the less fuel you use, it shrinks your carbon footprint that much. So I have nothing against hybrids, and I think it's a great kind of stepping stone to the EVs. So Vancouver, 300 plus miles for Dodge Charger EV. There you go. And the ones that came out so far are only 2 doors. I guess they're going to be coming out with a 4-door later. I like the look of the 2 doors, but I do think the 4-door is more practical, I guess. Like if I was a high school kid and I'm tooling around with my friends and we're all skinny and young, the 2-door's fine. You know, you can just plop in the back seat, whatever. As an old fat guy, and maybe I got family and friends and or whatever, or if I was doing it as a rideshare, you have to have a 4-door. Okay, I'm skipping on down. Pamela's here. Hey, Pamela, good to see you. Pamela says she was being silly. I did skip down, so I'm mid-thread, and I don't know what you're being silly about, but I could see that. I could see Pamela being silly. You know, I get that. Apparently, Billy Kid 73 is here because Jolie says hi, so I'm going to say hi to Billy Kid 73. Is saying something to Susie Jones. Says Susie Jones, so glad I know I get around a bit. Still, no one sees me on any MTN hosted YouTubes. They lose out. Their loss, our gain. Because we can see you, Ask. Roxanne Epstein, I love the Beastie Boys. No sleep till Brooklyn. Was that in the chat earlier? I know, I skipped down. Tom Bias, if you can, lease a vehicle, get a new one every year. Or at least, I think when your lease runs out, most leases, I don't know, maybe you can get a year lease. Lease. A lot of the ones like that I've seen are like, I think 3-year, but maybe you can. I don't know. If you can get a low lease, that's why that Tesla Model 3 $249 a month is so goddamn tempting. But don't worry, I'm going to stay strong. I'm skipping down, guys. I know I'm really behind. Let me just sort of glance at the chat, see if there's anything really super interesting. Sival goes, I might never go to Florida again. Ask says, first electric vehicles, predate gas. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. Big Dog, it's weird being the same age as old people. I know. What's all these old people? Wait, I'm old too. Yeah. Roxanne Epstein says, West Webb, ugh. They're worse when you have to drive with them. It's why I have a Mustang. I must pass these people. It doesn't matter that they had electric cars in 1920. It doesn't really matter. They never became the prominent vehicle. Gasoline won out. Basically because of the big oil companies emerging. You know. Yeah, there's Jolie with the channel membership, super chats, buy me coffee, all that good stuff. Thank you, everyone who has contributed to the show. I do appreciate you. So Vancouver has plenty of EV chargers. Their nav system maps out entire trip. Yeah, the nav systems, absolutely. But I'm just saying, it's a little, if you're used to gas-powered cars, which most of us are, there is going to be a bit of a learning curve. And using those navigation systems and planning your trip out a little bit. Whereas with a gas-powered car, you kind of look at the map. You go, okay, I'm in Vegas. I'm going to go to Michigan and see Michael McAndrews. I'm just going to look at the map, or I can just put it in my navigation, like in my MapQuest or whatever. And I don't have to worry about gas stations because I know there's going to be a gas station at every fucking off-ramp. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it's a little different. It takes a little bit of effort, but it can be done. Savon says Lucents go as far as 500 miles. Yeah, the Lucents, they've got some great range, but again, those are almost $100,000 cars. So I kind of count, or I kind of write them off until they can get a vehicle that's more affordable. I don't even really, other than some videos I watch, and I think they're really nice looking cars and they look like they drive nice. They got great range, but I'm not in the market for a $90,000 or $100,000 car, or even an $80,000 car. I mean, I'm not even in the market for anything actually right now. All right, let me skip on down. Look at that, Wes Webb, member for 10 months. I can barely remember the real names of mine. Wes Webb, thanks for being a member for 10 months. I appreciate you for doing that. Wes Webb, you get a yippee. Look at that. Wes Webb even got a yippee. Sylvain Covan says getting 16 inches of snow in New Hampshire. Wow. That's bigger than a foot long. Fancy says, I say to myself, I don't want to know too many of them. Me and Jay Daniel, we were the crazy neighbors when I was in high school. Dirt bike, guns, partying. We were a bit wild. And Jolie says, happy truck anniversary to Wes Webb. Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Wes, for being a member. Long-time member now. 10 whole months. One of the first ones, I think. So Vancouver says, Polestar has a plant in South Carolina. I've been seeing a lot more Polestars lately. Thank God they came out with some different colors besides that Battleship Gray. Chris Doug says, rented a Mustang Mach-E and drove it from LAX to Huntington Beach. That baby hauled ass on the 405. I bet it did. So, Vancouver, I got no issue with Mexican made. I like their president. I like their president, too. I think she's cool. And not just cool, but I mean, I like her policies and stuff like that. And I like how she stands up to Trump. Let's see. MJ Daniel says, no, what self-respecting woman would touch Musk? So gross. I know. Ruben Michaels says, I drove across America back in August 1969 in my 1965 SS Impala. Cool. It took me and my bride and I 5 days from Salem, Oregon to Fort Eustis, Virginia. I drove back by myself while my wife flew back 3 days. Wow, that sounds like an exciting trip, exciting time. And let's see, Gulf Marine. When I was a kid, my family drove our 75 tradesman van from San Francisco to Nobbinway, Michigan. 55 hours ride time and a shitload of memories. Those are the best, aren't they? Those are the ones you remember. You'll remember that. Oh, look at her. Jolie got the out-of-spec reviews. I bought the cheapest electric car for sale in the country. Thank you, Jolie. Thank you. You found it. See, you're so awesome. Thanks, Jolie, for putting that in there. So, who was it? Tom? Check out that link. Hit that link, and you can get some ideas of finding the cheapest electric vehicles. Thank you, Jolie, for doing that. I'm skipping down and I'm just needle dropping it here. Let's see. So Vancouver says VinFast are sold in the USA. I'm not sure what is that a car? VinFast? I don't even know what that is. Now, Wes was talking about, let's see, I saw Wes, Ford was going to start using the Tesla charging system. Are they not doing it? Did they drop that? Because I thought they were. I'm pretty sure Chevy is. I think I could buy an adapter for it's a Bolt. I don't own it. I think I could buy it or buy an adapter though for the Bolt, and I'm pretty sure I could charge up at a Tesla charging system. And look at here. Here's Jolie with another link for Liberdan's wife's medical expenses. There's the GoFundMe link and the Venmo link. Thanks, Jolie, for putting that down there. They're still going through some medical health issues with Liberdan's wife. So any help you can do there would be greatly appreciated. So thanks for putting that in there. Andrew Petrie says, I used to jump the railing at Niagara Falls and sit at the very edge. That gives me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it, man. I've gone to the Grand Canyon, and I've gotten kind of close to the edge, and that scares the shit. I wouldn't even do it now because in my old age, I think I've lost balance issues. I think I have balance issues. There's no way I would do what I did back when I was younger. Hey, Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights. Sup. Good to see you, Daniel Berry. Thanks for dropping in and hanging out with us. We got 65 watching, 92 thumbs ups. Can we get to 100? I'm issuing a challenge to all the trucklers out there and the loungers and whatever. I'm issuing a challenge to get to 100 thumbs ups, 100 likes. Are you guys up to the challenge? I guess we'll find out. I guess we will find out. Okay, I'm skipping down, guys. I know I'm skipping way down here. Sylvain Quelfond says the key to EV battery longevity is not charging it above 85%, but for long trips, don't let it go below 20% of charge, and don't always charge it. Go from 85 to 20 in charge. That's basically what I pretty much do, except for that one time when I went to 1%. A lot of times I go in. By the time I get to the charger, I'm probably below 20%, but in the teens. But it's a rental, right? No. And I usually just go to 80 or a little over 80 sometimes, but that's about it. Let's see. Chris Doug, I had a 99 Toyota Tacoma. Tried to drive it to the ground, but she would not die. Traded it for a Jeep, and they gave me $2,000 for it. 16 years old, 200,000 miles. Wow. Yeah, they hold their value, and you get lots of miles out of them. Michael McAndrews, $10 super sticker. Thank you, Michael McAndrews. Michael McAndrews, yippee for you. Thank you so much. Says, thanks for keeping me sane, John, or at least half sane. Thank you, Michael. I do appreciate your support. I appreciate everyone's support with the donations, the liking, the subscribing, the sharing, the thumbs ups. We're at 95, 5 more to 100, folks. Just 5 more. And we'll see if you guys have what it takes to get to 100. AVW SYLV, I got Colombian in-laws. Sylvain Coffont, VinFast is a Vietnamese brand of EVs. Look them up, sold in the USA. I definitely will look that up. VinFast. I have to say it a few times so I'll remember it. VinFast, VinFast, VinFast. There, now it's locked in, and I will never forget it, and I will look it up. Not right now, but I'll do it later. MJ Daniel says, my papa said, son, you're going to drive me to drinking if you don't stop driving that hot rod Lincoln. That was who was that? Jerry Lee Lewis or somebody? I don't know. Somebody. Roxanne Epstein says, yep, Marsha, mine too. I ended up with one cat who jumped in a little plane and into my lap on the runway, and she came home with us. The rest we adopted. Marsha says, sorry, can't shake depression last few days too much personally and politically. Sorry to hear that, Marsha. Depression it's a tough thing, so I hope you can get through that. Maybe hang out with us and maybe take your mind off for a little bit. Anyhow, I don't know. Michael McAndrew says, in the future there will be machines you put a quarter into and out pops a baby. You think so, Michael? Do you think that's going to happen? I don't know. Man. That's funny, though. Tom Bias, that's an unofficial challenge, right? No, I think that was an official challenge. And we're at 97 now. You guys are so close. You guys are so close to proving your mettle. To me, you're just 3 away from the challenge, the official challenge. Yes, that was official. Chris Doug says Colombian empanadas are delish. I prefer them over Mexican ones. We also got Hen soup. Speaking of hen soup, what about them egg prices? Big Dog NC says, I used to climb on the rocks at Grandfather Mountain, 1 mile down, smoked weed on sitting on the cliff face, very long way down. I don't recommend that, actually, smoking weed on a cliff. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm not sure if that's completely safe. Smoking weed or drinking, whatever, on a cliff edge. Not sure if I quite recommend that. And also, if you're old like me and have, don't have the balance and nimbleness that you once had. Nick Rich 420. I think I'm only 1 minute behind now, but I have been skipping over a lot of the great texts that you guys have. Guys, we're stuck at 97 thumbs ups. We're stuck at 97. Maybe you guys don't have it like what I thought. Maybe you guys just don't have it. Sylvain Coiffon says the hawk is still there, has 4 foot wingspan at least. Oh, it's a big hawk. That's a big hawk, man. Brooklyn 471, I meant a baby cat. Mr. Spock is here. Hey, Mr. Spock, live long and prosper. Damn it, someday I'll do the Vulcan sign appropriately, but live long and prosper. Mr. Spock says, John Denver wrote Rocky Mountain High on LSD. That explains a lot. That explains a lot. Hey, we're at 98 thumbs ups, 2 more, and you guys will have proved your medal. I don't even know what that means, by the way. I don't even know if I'm saying that right or using that right. But I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm just gonna go with it. I wish I was doing the show on LSD right now. Wes Webb says, stay healthy, Marsha, get plenty of sleep, and move around for 5 minutes an hour. That sounds like some good advice. Big Hook's here. Hey, Big Hook, the Big Canuck. Have you hit the thumbs up? Because we're at 98. We need 2 more to 100. I've issued the challenge. Can the chat answer the challenge? That is the question. Big Hook says, happy Valentine's Day Turtle Toes from yesterday. And like I always say, better late than never. Michael McAndrews, you can do it, Marsha. People overcome depression all the time. Give yourself a little rest time. Take things 1 day at a time, 1 minute at a time if you have to. 99 thumbs ups, I see. 99. 1 more will be at the 100, and you guys will have proven yourself. Roxine Epstein says, I love the hawk that lives near me. I see him all the time and hear an owl close by too. There we go. 101. 101. We have achieved the goal. I guess that would be an unofficial goal because it wasn't like the goal, so I get you, Tom. It wasn't official where I made a goal, like on the goal thingy. But still, you guys did it. You proved your medal. Don't know what that means, but I'm going with it. Thank you very much. 101 thumbs ups. I feel as though we've accomplished something today. But thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Now we're at 104. Gee, many Christmas. Can we get to 200? Not today. We're already over 2 hours, and I've got to get going. I'm going to do some lifting. And by lifting, not lifting weights, although I should get back into the gym. But I'm going to do lift driving. So that didn't look right on the screen, by the way. Paul Sharkey Mannion's here. Hey, Paul Sharkey from across the pond. Good to see you. Says, hi there, TJ and truckers. What's all this nonsense about putting McKinley on the mountain? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Big Hook, I thumbed it to 97. Thank you so much. Roxanne 101. Thanks, Roxanne. Everyone getting us over the hump there. We're at 105 now. You guys are awesome. You're like, yeah, Trucker John. Well, I'll see your 100 and I'll raise you 5 or whatever. I don't know. Michael McAndrews, let's put Elvis and Zappa on the mountain. Go telling on the mountain. I think we should put Hal Sparks on the mountain. How's that? There. I said it. Roxanne Epstein, the Sway, the rest of the show, your day, Trucker John, fellow trucker. Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you for being here. And I am going to shut this shit show down here in a bit. Like I said, I got to get going. Nick Rich, refill required. I need a cookie too. I know you do. I know what you need, Nick. I know exactly what you need. And now that you said it, though, now I can't do it. It's like when your hair's getting kind of long and you're like, I think I'm going to get my hair cut. And then someone goes, you need a haircut. And you're like, fuck you, I'm not getting a haircut. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Fuck that, Trucker John. I'm coming in whether you like it or not. I'm coming in hot. That's right. So fuck off, Trucker John. You think you can keep me off of these airwaves? No. Think again. Think again, motherfucker. This is Tough Cookie. Yes, the foul-mouthed cookie. Sorry if there were any children listening. But hey, fuck them. No, fuck those kids if they can't take a joke. No, I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding. I love kids. Just keep them away. Keep them away from me and a glass of milk. All right? Or else you're going to see Tough Cookie, bust out his moves. Tough Cookie be, busting out his moves. Keep me away from that glass of milk. All right? Anyhow. All right. I just had to make an appearance. There is, I believe, a stipulation. Trucker John is contractually obligated to get me in at least a few minutes of every show. And some shows he doesn't do it. And then I got to call my lawyers. And I'm on the phone. And we get the lawyers involved. And it's a whole thing. So, Trucker John knows better. You don't fuck with me and my lawyers, all right? Just don't do it. Don't do it. All right, guys. I don't know why my mouth only moves sometimes. I guess I have to really enunciate in order to get the mouth to work. All right, guys. Just wanted to say hi, and I wanted to throw out a few F-bombs because the show was really short on F-bombs, I noticed. It was getting a little too mamby-pamby to my liking. So I had to come in here and, throw it around, man. Sometimes you gotta, wave that dick on the desk. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta just let people know who's boss, who's in charge. You gotta let them know what you're swinging. You know what I mean? So I gotta come in here and throw some F-bombs down because Trucker John is keeping it way too clean, way too rated G. Way too Disney. This ain't Disney. You know what I mean? Wes Webb coming in here, technical mumbo jumbo, not airwaves. Whatever. Digital, smidgital. 107 thumbs ups. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys. Thanks for being here. I don't believe there's any. I didn't get a contract. I'm not in the contract. There's a contract. Tough Cookie. I think I'm going to have to talk to my lawyers now. I didn't know that we had things like contracts for this. Tough Cookie, you're a lot smarter than I took you for. I don't know what you're getting out of it, though, because there's nothing to get. But anyhow, thanks, guys, for being here. Glad you guys were here, by the way. I'm feeling good. I hope you guys are feeling a little bit better just from listening to the sage wisdom of Trucker John. It makes me feel so much better. Helps me go through these tough times, these Trumpian times, this Muscovian times. So, I need whatever little help I can get. And so I hope you guys found it also here on the Trucker John channel. And hopefully Tough Cookie didn't ruin the whole thing with his foul mouth and everything. But hey, whatever. I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to bicker. Just here to say hello to everybody. And we'll see you on the next one, which I think will be Tuesday. All right. So see ya. Thanks for being here. All right. Thank you, Paul the Purple Beard Guy and Tough Cookie. There they go. Off to the side somewhere. All right, guys. Thank you so much. The Ucker Phil show. The Ucker Phil show. Thanks for being here. And thanks for the 108 thumbs ups. I do appreciate you. Guys, just one day at a time. Just take this one day at a time. Before you know it, 2026 will be here. Let's make sure we vote. Let's overcome. I think the best way of overcoming the whatever election, shenanigans that the Republicans are going to be throwing at us is by overwhelming them at the ballot box and getting the biggest numbers we can get. So let's all make sure we're registered to vote. Get ready to vote. I mean, we've got a year before 2026 comes around, and then the campaigns really start. So, but actually less than a year. Start gearing up for it. But like I say, if you need to take a break. Take little breaks. Don't let it overwhelm you. If you can, I know it's hard. Maybe, I don't want people to be uninformed, but maybe not watch the news quite so much. Maybe get a daily rundown of it at the end of the night, or so you know what's going on, but maybe not be glued to the news so much. I don't know. But if you are feeling overwhelmed, maybe take a break, go see a movie, a comedy, or stream something that takes your mind off things. But we can't just totally disengage. We have to stay involved, make sure we can vote. And I know we talk about votes being thrown out, legal votes being thrown out and not counted, and that's awful, and it may have cost Kamala Harris the election. But I'm still encouraging people to vote. I'm not going to discourage people from voting. We need to vote. We need to overwhelm the system and really have the big blue wave in 2026, man. That's what keeps me going, I think, is 2026. All right, guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for being here. I do appreciate you. And as always, I end the show with some words of wisdom that I hope you guys can take with you through the rest of the week, or maybe for the rest of your lives. That's how good this stuff is. So get your pencil, get your paper, or a pen, a crayon, whatever. Write this down. You want to write this down, and probably get the refrigerator magnet and put it on your refrigerator. All right, so here it is, guys. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Just remember that as we
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So I style of Easter, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I try to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again.
Trucker John, on the road he rides, live streaming all through the nights. From politics to pop culture he speaks. No topic is off limits, nothing is weak. From Vegas to the highways, he'll never tire. Shouting about food, talking about desire. He's the rebel of the asphalt, the king of the night. With a microphone in his hand, he's ready to ignite. Freedom is his fuel, passion in his soul. Gotta express himself, gotta take control. Moving through the country, keeping it real, no filter, no holding back, nothing to conceal. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never